I'm sure you guys have heard of Gina K Designs. And recently for my birthday challenge, I've gotten a video response from one of my besties online. Hey Linda! Oh, I'm giggling because we just got done talking about the farting butterfly on my last video. Anyhow, there's this technique that Gina K does where she uses some kind of Versamark pad and black embossing powder and some bleach with some stamps that look similar to these stamps that I have through Close to My Heart called Autumn Splendor. So I'm going to try out that technique today as my second page in my journaling book. And you can see I'm wearing my star pajamas. It's kind of a blizzard outside. The wind's, I mean, I could hardly get in the door at the post office. The wind was so strong. So I'm going to clean up my mess here. I'm going to move my stuff out of the way, find my bleach and get it in a safe container, and then I'll get started. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is take one of the leaves and just randomly stamp this one and wherever the mood strikes me across the page. I did one that went slightly off the edge of the page. I'm going to make them look like they are kind of cascading down. And hopefully my Versamark pad is wide enough that this will still stick. I also put down beforehand a piece of white paper here to catch this embossing powder, since this is in a book, so it's not a piece of paper I can readily move around a lot. So I'm really hoping that I get lucky and hit that piece of paper with most of this as it comes off. If I don't, I'm my mat underneath. I have a Ranger craft mat to also protect my surface, so it is okay if it doesn't. I did pretty well. Let me give it another tap because I want some of that in the middle to come off. That stuck really well, like better than I anticipated. Alright, I'll clean up my mess and come back. And now I'm going to heat set that embossing powder. I'm going to add one more smaller leaf, the same kind of pattern, just having them randomly kind of cascade down from the top. And then one coming off the edge here, so it creates the flow. Like I said in my last video, you don't want everything to just be clumped into the center of your page. You want to do sometimes things off the edge to give it that kind of a flow. I don't usually wash off the Versamark because it leaves the stamp sticky, and I also heard on other videos that it can somehow repair or make your stamps softer and help it keep that stickiness, so I'm just going to leave that on there if you're wondering why I'm not cleaning that off. That's just a quick show of how, after I have that embossing powder on there, I just tilt it and dump it right back into the container. For you noobs that weren't quite sure and like, hey, how'd you do that? Now you know. I finished embossing the smaller leaves, and I must have blown too hard on this one because all the embossing powder came off of it, but you can still definitely see the watermark there, so I'm just going to go with that. Not going to worry about it. Still have some powder on here a little bit. I keep this big brush around just to dust stuff off. I try not to use it for paint or anything, I just use it for dusting stuff off. And it just hangs around my room. Okay, and I really want to get to doing the bleach, so I'm going to do that next. My mat is underneath to protect my work surface, and we're going to find out together what this does, because I'm not sure if it's just going to bleach the black out, if it's going to turn green or a different color. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what it's going to do. I want to pick a brush that I know that if I get it kind of gross with the bleach, that I don't really care what happens to it. And one that's relatively small, so I'm going to go with one of these. It's pretty tiny. That way I can get it exactly where I want it to go, inside the leaf and not like crazy outside of it. And we may not see anything immediately, and we may not see anything at all, so we'll experiment together and see what comes of it. What happened on Gina K's video, if you want to look it up, I might add that to the description box if I can find it. She did hers on a green piece of paper, and she thought that it would turn like a yellow or another kind of a green. And when she added heat, it actually did fade out to almost like a turquoise green. So that's pretty much wetted down with that. I'm impatient, so I want to add the heat like right away and see what happens. Like, maybe nothing will happen. Maybe my bleach isn't strong enough. I'm not seeing anything happen. I'm going to add some more. Maybe it is that this one doesn't have enough. Let's just go over this one right here. The one that didn't have the powder. Let's see what happens with that. I'm kind of bummed, you guys. I really thought this would be like a super fun, like, ta-da moment. And it's totally not. It's totally just sucking the big toe right now. Alright, let's add some heat to that bad boy and see what happens. You're not here, so you can't smell it, but if you were here, you'd smell it, but you're not here, so you can't smell it. Definitely smelling bleach. Not seeing a whole heck of a lot of anything happening, though. We are just going to have to move on from this and add something else. I think maybe my bleach is just too darn old, or it's the wrong kind, or whatever. So I used regular Clorox bleach from my laundry. Yeah, it didn't really work. So, note to self, buy new bleach. Okay, on to the next thing. Alright, now that I have my sprayer working, I'm just going to put some water on here with some gesso and like make kind of like a wash. I'm just gonna put some on. I'm hoping that it won't totally like cover it up, all up. And that it will sort of resist that, yeah. Let's see what happens. Need something tougher. Tougher than TP. I don't have it right now. So all I'm doing is just wetting that gesso so that the water wells up actually on top of that the embossing powder that's already been embossed, and making it resist, and then picking it right back up off of that leaf. That one didn't have too much, or dried maybe, I'm not sure. That's kind of a neat look. What would be fun on there? You dry it a bit. What would be some numbers? I think some numbers would be really cool. I don't know why, but numbers would be really neat. Oh, what ink do I want to use? Stays on. Let's try that. Cool. I like the look of that. And for my next trick, I don't really have a trick, but I'm thinking, oh, when I said something about, what the heck was I talking about? Something about, I needed something stronger than that toilet paper, but I made it work. And I thought, oh, toilet paper. Let's get out the Mod Podge and add something down so that we can kind of create a border of something that attaches to both of these here. Why not add some toilet paper? What a keen idea. I want to add a little bit of texture, so I'm not going to keep it totally straight. I'm going to, you know, ball it up some, stick it on. I'm going to need some new Mod Podge soon. I'm almost out. Toilet paper is hard to keep to stick down. Using your hand is a lot better. Your finger. We'll get there. We'll get there though. I'm determined. See if we can at least get the edge to stay down. That'd be cool. Yay! Saturate the edge. Cool. Coolness. I like it. Okay, let's add some more fast forward. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun? I'm trying to get my camera to stay in one spot. It won't, so whatever. Wouldn't it be fun to add some perfect pearls or Pearl X, as I have, on here? So I'm going to do that right now. This stuff can be really messy if you've never played with it before. See, I've already dropped a bunch. It gets on everything. I'm just going to use, I don't know, it's a rough kind of a brush to put it on. I don't want to paint it on because I don't want it to be like, ignore my droid. It's not the droid you're looking for. I don't want it to be look like it was totally painted on purpose in that exact area kind of thing. So I'm hoping that it will still stick to this because it's not quite completely dry yet. But as I tap this around and tap it into, you can see the really shiny pearlexy powder bringing out its color. It's kind of a gold. Really cool. It's really pretty. If I can get it to spread around a little bit more. Fun stuff. I think we should add some more colors though. Not just that. But how about a color like this? I love the color burgundy, by the way. It's one of my absolute favorite colors. This is sort of it. Sort of, not exactly, but it'll do. This is a little bit more of a brown kind of a tone than I really like in a burgundy, but how about a little green? Let's put a little green in your season. Wow, I'm almost out of green. I wonder why. Must have been a popular color. And I guess these don't have, I don't know what they call it. They don't set unless they get wet. So that's basically it. After I'm done with this, then I'll have to give it some kind of a spray. I don't know, something. It's kind of pretty. Go with the flow. I like it. I'm not going to add any more colors right now because I want to kind of mist over it with this. See if I can get it to set where it's at. And then I'm going to have to give it a dry. Alright, we'll let that dry. I decided I didn't like this raw edge and I don't want to try to cover it up with ink, so I used my, oh, I know y'all aren't gonna want to know what it's called. The Medallion Chain, it's called, by EK Success. For Your Creative Life by EK Success. Yeah, I made that. I want to put that on the side here to cover up the fact that it looks kind of unfinished. I think that looks really cool. Kind of like, looks like it's got layers tucked under layers, and that's really a fun look. I'm going to adhere that down with my hot glue, so I'm going to wait for that to heat up and I'll be back. I'm going to add a little bit of this acrylic paint. It's called Extreme Glitter by Folk Art. And we probably won't be able to see the full effect of this right away because it just goes on like glue. That's what it looks like. But it puts on an extreme dark shimmer. And I want to kind of pull some of that shimmer into this white part, but make it kind of blend into the side as well. Let's see if I can pull that off. I kind of want it to all go in one direction, but then I want that line to get blurred and get lost once it goes into this part. I don't want to be able to really see that. This really stiff old brush is really good for that. Make it look like it was just been kind of drawn out, like feathered out. I'll leave a little touch of black on the end, and then use the rest to kind of dab in here, and then draw it lightly out onto this side so you can't see it as much. So it blends those two areas together. You can start to see, I don't know, when you look at the camera lens you can't really tell, but it looks like you can start to see kind of a green sheen. It just depends on what you're adding it to, about what kind of colors show up the most out of that sparkle. It's kind of cool, but I like the way that looks. So we're going to let that dry, and then maybe a little bit up here, since that black kind of sticks out. Add a little sparkle up there. Kind of like that sparkle was hidden behind there the whole time. And a little bit right here, that edge. Alright, we'll let that dry. Adding some last bursts of color. I started with an apricot appeal, and I just went through the whole white section, and now I'm adding some more mustard, kind of an orangey yellow, just to the sides and around the bubbles, and just kind of drawing those out a little. And I think this is going to bring it all together. I like that. Alright, I'll do some still pictures at the end, but I think that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.